Welcome to the Influency Podcast, and this is your How to Pronounce Friday, where I share with you the pronunciation secrets of tricky and confusing words. Today, we're going to talk about the most complicated names of TV shows out there, complicated for non-native speakers, and how to pronounce them correctly. So, let's get started. Stranger Things. Strein-dj'r things. 3 syllables. The first syllable is strain. You start with s, and then you move on to the tr. The tr sounds sort of like a ch sound. Stray. Then it's the a as in day, so it's not stre. Strain, and then you close it with an N, strain. The next syllable is j'r. You start with a j sound and you move it directly to the R. J'r. There is no vowel in between. Stranger. And then the last word is thingz. Stick the tongue up for the th, relaxed I, thingz, and end it with a z because the S is pronounced as a Z. Thingz. Stranger Things.
They should have never given us uniforms if they didn't want us to be an army.
The Handmaid's Tale. Like any good complicated word, we start with a th. The. Make sure that the vowel after is very reduced, so it's not the. Then you move on to the h. Hand. If you tend to not pronounce the h, be sure to pronounce it. You need to release air from your throat. It's like a whisper. The hand. Then you move on to the a sound that is slightly modified. Drop your jaw, listen, ha. You hear this transition? Do it. The hand. Then it's an N and a D. But because there is an M right after, the handmaidz, right? The handmaidz. So the D is swallowed. You don't say the handmaid. You don't want to fully pronounce the D. Sometimes you can even drop it and no one will notice if you say it super fast. The handmaidz, right? And if you want to pronounce it properly, the D is the held D, you don't release it. The hand, you move on to the M. The handmaidz, a Z, not an S. Tail, an aspirated T, a long A as in day, and a dark L. Tail. Sounds like you're adding a y sound right before the L. Tail. The Handmaid's Tale.
These two can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Pretty Little Liars. A lot of flap T's here. So we start with PR, round your lips a little bit for the R, bring it back, the tongue, pri, and then it's a relaxed I sound, not pri-dee, but pri. Then a flap T and a high E, pretty. Then we have the word little. I have a full video just about the word little, so go check it out. Pretty li, an L sound and a relaxed I. Pretty little, flap T and a dark L. So imagine like there is an O in between. Pretty little liars. And then you move on to the L and then lai-y'rz. You add a y sound, a schwa, and an R. Lai-y'rz. Okay? Pretty Little Liars. Pretty Little Liars. That's such a tongue twister. Pretty Little Liars. Pretty Little Liars. Pretty Little Liars. Big Little Lies. Almost the same, but different. The only difference is that we have the word big. It starts with a B relaxed I, not big, but big. Big. Move on to the word little. You already know how to pronounce it. Big Little, and then another L, lies. Close it with a Z. Big Little Lies. Have you watched Pretty Little Liars last night? Oh no, I watched Big Little Lies.
Everyone will see it.
Oh God, I can't watch this.
Black mirror. You start with a B sound and then the L, bl, make the L a little heavier, then open it to the as in cat, black. Close it with a K, black, move on to the M of mir'r, black, me, relaxed I, and then don't get all confused with the R and the O and the R, just make it like a long R, mir'r. I kid you not. Just pronounce it like one long R. Mir'r. Black mirror. It'll make your life a lot easier and the name is going to sound a lot clearer. Mirror. Black mirror. Have you seen the new season of Black Mirror? Oh, it's so black. Game of Thrones. So the word game is rather easy. Make sure you bring your lips together for the M at the end. Game. Then you move on to a reduced word, and that is the word of. So actually you want to connect those two together. Gei-m'v. Gei-m'v. M'v. Then stick the tongue out for the word thrownz. You start with a TH, then an R. Thur. Pull the tongue in for the R so it doesn't hit anything on the way up. Thrownz, right? Thur. So you can also prolong it for a little bit until you make sure that you pronounce the R sound correctly. Throw. O as in go. Make sure you add a W at the end. Throne. And add a Z. Thrownz. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Orange the new black. Orange the new black. Orange the new black. I guess the hardest part here is the. You need to train your tongue to go through this transition between the Z sound of is and the TH. Z. So let's do this for half an hour or so. See? A lot easier. Is the. Orange the. Orange the. And then we have the first word to add. Orange is the. Now the first syllable is or. Or. Round your lips for the O. Make sure that you don't bring the tongue up too soon so it's not orange, but or. Or. And from here you move to runge. So it's kind of like you have two R's here. Or, runge. An R, a schwa, and the nj sound. Orange. You bring the tongue up for the N and then you close it with a J. So you're doing something like this. Nj, nj, with your tongue. Orange. Orange the. Okay, and then you move on to this transition that you've already mastered. Orange the new. An N sound and then the long U as in food. And you don't have to say it as new. You don't have to add the Y sound, right? Before the U. No. You can just do it like this. No. Because you're chill and you're hip and you're cool. Orange the new black. A B and an L, bl, and then the as in cat, blah. Drop your jaw so it doesn't sound like blick or black. Blah, push your tongue forward, the lips pull to the sides a bit, and close it with a K. Orange the new black. Orange the new black.
I'm in a dream.
You're in my dream.
Westworld. I mean, world alone is a challenging word, right? So let's first learn how to pronounce that. You start with the W and then you move on to the R immediately. Word. There is no O in the middle, so don't say something like world, okay? Just switch from the W to the R and be chill. Be chill. Word. Then the L is long, is deep. It's a back, dark, open L sound. A lot of times people drop the L and then they say something like word, westward. That's a different name. Westworld, You want to make sure that you hear that dark, deep L sound. And only then you bring the tongue up for the D and it has to be light. World. Once you hear the D, that's it. The word is over. So it shouldn't be too dominant. Now the West starts with a W and then it's the E as in red. We. So you want to drop your jaw here. And then the S is pronounced until it is stopped abruptly. And that is technically the T. West. So I don't really pronounce the T. It's not west. West. Moving on to the next word. World. West world. Okay? West world. So all these consonants are kind of squeezed in together. So in order to pronounce it clearly, follow my guidelines and then do it over and over and over and over again, like 20, 30 times until you get your tongue around it. West world. Queer as folk. Here the as is a function word, but we're going to pronounce it fully. Queer has a high E sound and then you shift to the R. Queer. Make sure you don't bring the tongue up too soon because then it's going to sound like were. Queer. So give some space for the high E to be pronounced. Queer. Then open your mouth for the a as in cat and close it with a z, not an s. Queer as. And then we have the word folk. It is not folk. There is no L and the O is a long O as in go. Folk, folk. Queer as folk. Connect it all together. Queer as folk.
I can't accept your proposal.
I'm scared.
What just happened?
The Bachelor. Classy. Bachelor. You start with the B and then it's the as in cat. Batch. Close it with a ch sound, the first syllable. Batch. And then the most important thing here is that you don't pronounce the O. It's not lor, but it's lur. Bachelor. Bachelor. And on the contrary, we have bachelorette. Bachelorette. So we start the same. Batch, le, ret. Here we do pronounce an e sound at the end, and that's where the stress lies. Bachelorette. Bachelor, the bachelorette. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what is your favorite TV show, and if there are any other shows that I've forgotten to mention that are difficult for you to pronounce. Also, if you want to grab the list of the shows and the phonetic transcription, come on over to my website. It's on my blog post. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter email list so you will get a new video to your inbox every single week. Have a beautiful, wonderful day filled with nature and love and family. And I will see you next week. Bye. Okay, that was your How to Pronounce Friday episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like the podcast, then consider subscribing to the podcast, and if you feel really crazy, you can even rate and review the podcast. And you can find me at hadar.accentsway on Instagram, where you can DM me and ask for all the crazy, fancy, confusing words that you'd like to know how to pronounce. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.